Alright, let's go ahead and get this stream started. Hey, how's it going, friends and fiends? Thanks for checking out today's stream. We're going to do some more solo RPG stuff. This is going to be session number 2 of our A River Apart solo D&D adventure. Very interesting. If you haven't seen the first part, I suggest you go track it out. We'll talk a little bit about what happened, but if you want the full story, you're probably going to want to check that out. Today we're going to be tracking down some kidnappers, or some would-be kidnappers. That's what Cristof and Gertrudt will be up to, while Reed's going to be busy with his commendation ceremony, and we're going to figure out Reed's rank of nobility and the fief size that he's going to be given, so it should be interesting. Alright, so what happened in our very first session? So we had a first peek at Reed, our PC. We discussed the religion and its role in politics with the Crown Prince Reed. And I'm going to get this right this time. We Sathus, Kuin, who is sort of their religious advisor. That's my train of thought. We met Cristof, who is our sort of gray fox veteran warrior, who is a half-elf who's our number 1 retainer, and our number 2 retainer, lore keeper Gertrude. This bookish lavender Saurian, which is lizard folk, druid. Druid as in the religious person, not as in that is a class, the D&D class. They're going to serve as bodyguard and sort of major domo for the new Lord Reed. Reed is busy sitting his lone overnight vigil. He gets a bit of hypothermia and drinks of the spirit waters, and that kind of induce what we think was a hallucination, or we're going to assume was a hallucination, where there was a manticore that came out of the forest and talked to him. Potentially an aspect or emissary of the cat, which is one of the newer religion gods, and not the old religion or of this area. Told him to be wary of the threats of man, and he'll survive, and if he respects the wilds, he'll thrive. Cristof and Gertrudt overheard a plot against Reed while they were in town, and followed 2 young druids that Gertrude recognized, and stopped the plot to kidnap Reed. On the body, they found a map, and the retainers have set off in the night into the forest to track down the fleeing tiefling druid, because we killed one of them fled, so they're tracking down that one, and using this map to try to figure out what probably some meeting point, we think, to figure out who maybe this plot's mastermind is, who's actually after Reed. And that's most of what happened in the last session. So, since the stream, I finished drafting some more points of interest on the map, and we'll show you, you'll see the map here in a minute. And I was especially happy with the Wild Rose Bend, which is the place where Gertrude is from. I really kind of fleshed that out a little bit more. If we are lucky and the path goes the way that I think it's going to, as far as our travel plans, we're going to go right by there. So hopefully we'll get another opportunity to interact with that area in a different way, because we didn't really get to interact with it just picking Gertrude up. And I think without anything else, we should probably just get into the stream. So let's take a look at our outline for session number 2, and remember that at the end of each session, we're going to roll that 1d6 and add it to Reed's ability scores, because Reed's ability scores are skank right now. They are just awful. He has a +1, a -2, a -1, a -1, a +1, and a 0. Remember that he is very young, and so we're sort of doing this forced maturation process, so he has to make it through each session alive, essentially. And as he does, he will get to roll an extra d6, and then every time he levels up, he'll have the ability to re-roll one of his ability scores that was a 1. Again, if he re-rolls that 1, then you're stuck with the 1 at that point. But let's take a look at the outline. Let me pull the outline up. Do that. Out to the side. There we go. Let me throw you guys over very quickly. Alright, so this is kind of the session outline that we're looking for. So it's the 22nd of Spring Mother. That's not that important for you guys. It just lets us know where we are as far as in the world. So it's still late spring. There's still lots of snow on the ground at this point because we're in a more southerly latitude. In that, I mean, think of it, we're close to anachronism, sort of boreal Canada is kind of the area that we're in, as far as sort of, if you want to know about the climate. That's kind of where we are. So it's still quite cold. So we're going to have our retainers follow the map on the trail of the tiefling druid to assume the kidnapping handoff point. And we're going to try to hopefully figure out what each is running to or from, as in why they're doing this, so we can get a little development of our characters and why they're invested in potentially saving him. So let's go ahead and start right there. Alright, yeah, I think we're good with this track for right now, this audio track. Let's go ahead and go to session 2. How was I doing this? Okay, yeah. Just kind of set the scene. So it's exterior, night, in the forest. Man, we're gonna see how my voice goes. No. Excuse me. Can't drink. Wet my whistle. Alright. So, we've got 2 people in here, and actually, you know what, I'll just go ahead and, let's just go ahead and give you the full review. That way you guys can see that. So, Reed's not here, but we have Cristof and Gertrudt with us. So, at this point, I think Kristof's really the one who's going to handle most of this, because we're going to track people and we're going to look at the maps. Neither of them is going to have any sort of like cartography or navigation that's going to help them as far as reading the maps. They're going to do their best with the map. So we'll let her handle the map, and he's going to handle survival as they try to track this person. He also has dark vision, which Gertrude does not. But Gertrude, I believe, has a light on her. I believe we said that. I believe we said that. I don't have any mention on here. Of course, I didn't give them a full gear list. But I believe they have either a torch or a lantern. I can't remember which one. I think they have a torch. But you know what? Actually, they will probably snuff that, because that will let people know that they're skulking around. So she's just going to kind of hold on tight to Cristof. Kind of like grab him by the sleeve, or the back of the shirt, and kind of follow with him. And try to squint as much as she can in the dark, looking at that map, which is not going to go great for her. So I think the way that we're going to do this, we're going to make this a little action check real quick. So let's roll a DC. And let's say, I think I only want like 3 successes. So so this is going to be an effort thing. If you guys have never seen me do the effort thing, and this is the first time you're here, hey, thanks for checking out the stream. But what this does is we basically roll a DC, and then we'll just multiply that DC. Be like, okay, you're going to have 3 opportunities to get this total. So that way, there's no one singular point of failure. They just have to get that much. It also, anybody who has really high bonus or rolls really high, they get better reward rather than just a pass-fail, which I like a little bit more. All right, 8 plus 4, okay, so that's going to be 14. So, 14 times 3 is 42, right? Did I do that math right? Yes. Alright, so we're going to be seeing 42 and 3. And the main things that we're going to look for are going to be survival, and which is basically going to be navigation. I believe is kind of or cartography. We'll just say map. How about that? Yeah, pretty. Technically, I guess it would be orienteering, though we're not using a compass. Alright. So, they're going along. Gertrude, I believe, has guidance. So I think she will cast her guidance specifically on... Actually, you know what? She's going to cast guidance on herself, which I believe you can still do in 2024. Just because she's already going to be at disadvantage trying to read that thing in the dark. And Cristof should be okay. So we're trying to hit a... We'll let Cristof go first. We're trying to hit that 14 DC. That's kind of our target area. He has a +3, so we need to roll an 11 on a survival check. Let's see what we get. Big money, no whammies. Not great. Alright, so we got an 8 to start out. It's not great. Alright, so they're fumbling around in the darkness and being like, oh, I can't. There's quite a bit of snow, and you know what? Actually, they would have advantage because there's snow and mud, which is really hard to cover up tracks. So actually, he would have advantage on this because he has dark vision, so doesn't have to worry about not being able to see. So that might save us in this encounter. Then that roll is much better. Let's go with a 19. Yeah, I'll just remember here. Hey. We're tracking in snow and mud. Or mud and snow. Alright, so after a good pack, he's like, look, I found the trail. Let's hustle. Are they going to try to go quietly, or are they trying to... I think they're trying to go quietly. You know what? I'm going to keep them at an even pace right now. If they're able to be successful with the map as well, then I think that they can go slower because they're going to have a better idea of where they need to get to, regardless of whether that person is going to be there or not. So I think I'm just going to leave them like that for right now. And then we're going to go map reading. And let's get a little roll now. This is going to be at disadvantage for Gertrude, but she's going to get that extra d4. Okay, so she got a 9. And Gertrude, I'd say this is intelligence based, which she's good at. So that already makes her at a 12. And so we just need a little bit from this guy. All right, so 15. So we are above the curve. We're in front of the curve. That's a great place to be. So things are going really well for us. That is great. We're at 34. That means that we only need to hit an 8. And we got a little self-guidance. I think she has a staff, so she kind of like holds her staff up and like helps it, and it kind of does that thing where it like helps her kind of lock in focus-wise as they're moving through, so she can kind of squint and read what's going on the map in the dark. All right, so things are going really well for them. That's great. Much better than I was expecting. I thought we were probably going to lose this trail immediately. So, good for us. Perfect. All right, do we want to answer our questions first? Let's answer one of our questions. All right, what is each running to or from with this new opportunity with Reed? Who do we want to start with? I think let's start with Cristof, because I think Gertrude's going to be following quietly, and she's... And you know what? We're gonna swap that around. I'm gonna start with Cristof. Who's gonna start asking Gertrude? I didn't know you would be able to read maps. Not well. I can do many things. Few things do I do exceptionally well. Kind of a jack of, or a Jill of all trades? Something like that. Oh, well, I understand that. I've done some fighting, done some scouting, kind of a lot of different things. Be perfectly honest, you seem pretty bookish for this, and you know that we're headed off kind of into uncharted wilderness. It's going to be probably very, very dangerous and very rough living. I wouldn't think somebody with your background would be kind of interested in that. I'm trying to think if she phrases it. Let's give her a roll. Now, Gertrude is... you know what? I'm going to make this an insight roll for Cristof. Do it that way. He's trying to get some of this information. All right. Well, with a 3, he's not going to get that. Again, being a Saurian, she's got that sort of crocodilian features. Very, very hard to kind of read emotion on. But he does notice that she does kind of take a pause. As she kind of pulls her furred clothes kind of closer around her. I don't necessarily fit where I am. I'm looking for maybe a new opportunity. Ah, okay. Yeah, no, I understand that. Not too dissimilar from myself. Getting a little bit older, getting a little bit slower. Not as much use for me in skirmishes, fighting, younger men, stronger arms. But there's only so many sword instructors a person needs. So I thought with the young Master Reed, there'd be a good cause. You know, one last big adventure, right? I see. So, retirement. Yeah, I guess this is retirement. Or a path to retirement. Alright, well, it looks like the trail's headed off that way, so why don't we hush up and see if we're getting close. And the two continue on. So I think we learned a little bit about our characters, which is nice. I think we know that Reed is on this adventure to essentially find a place where he could be useful. And maybe transition into retirement. Oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, you actually got here. There you go. Yeah, I think that's sort of what Reed's interested in. I think Gertrude. Gertrude is an outsider who's looking for a place to belong, essentially. So that kind of gives us some idea as to why they've signed up for this very strange mission to kind of go off and carve civilization out of the wilderness. Yeah, long time no see. I'm doing well. How are you? Doing good? Nice. Alright, so that's where they are. I think I'm going to jump back at this point. I know everything's going to be a little outside of time. That's okay for us. So we're going to hop back to this. So we've got this. And we have, I'm just going to bold this so I know that we've done that. So let's talk about the commendation ceremony. So Reed's vigil is going to, overnight vigil is going to come to an end. A couple of guards are going to come out to get him. Notice that there's a dead body with him. And there's going to be a whole bunch of back and forth there. We're going to give, just to kind of hurry this along, I don't want to play this scene out, but just to kind of showcase Reed's ability to talk. So Reed's going to do a little persuasion check here, which he is trained in, so he gets at least a +2 on it. It's 11. So he does a pretty good job, an adequate job of talking about this, kind of middle of the road. He's like, oh, this person came out of the woods to attack me. Probably a robber or something like that. Let's ask this question. This is a question that I have been wondering about coming into this session. So it's just a straight oracle roll, I think. How common are attempts on a person's life, especially somebody like nobility? Is it like a Game of Thrones thing where everybody getting poisoned and stabbed all the time, or is this a like very rare occurrence? So I think my gut instinct is that it's not a very common occurrence, but when people are moving to secure power for themselves, there are opportunities where people kind of essentially check them. Be like, hey, can you protect yourself long enough to actually get this power? So I think Reed being in a position where he's about to get his title of nobility, somebody's like, all right, you need to prove your worth, that you're capable of holding on to this. So that's where I'm going to put it in. So I think it's rare. So how do we frame the question? Is it uncommon for people to be tried to kill? And I think that's likely. I'm going to say +3 here. Okay, 15. Yeah. Okay, so it's pretty uncommon. That's good. That's just one of the things that I wanted to know. Let's see. So they're going to take... These guards are going to escort him back in. They're going to deal with that body. And there'll probably be some light inquiry. I get the idea based off of our very mediocre roll that there's not going to be any sort of investigation about it. They're going to be like, probably bandits coming out of the woods. They see somebody out there. They're just going to try to easy pickings. Oh, you said they were kidnappers. They're probably just looking for ransom. And it's like, it's an Occam's razor kind of situation where everybody just kind of assumes that that's the most likely explanation because it's the simplest. So, hey, somebody's out here by themselves, might know who that person is, might know that they can be ransom, try to kidnap them. And these are just thieves and bandits and things like that. So they're not going to do any investigation to look at like, find out this person is a druid and what is that all about? Why would they be kidnapping somebody? So they're not going to go into that. So that means it's the morning. Now, being true nobility, that means that Reed goes back to bed, and then they don't get up until the afternoon. So it will be the afternoon, and that is when the preparations for the commendation ceremony will begin. Is there anything I need to check? I don't think there's anything we need to do before the commendation ceremony. No, we can go straight into it. So some time passes. People start to gather in the main hall of Glorybend Hall. So lots of people start to come in. The people who are here in attendance, and we have that list of people who are going to be here. So these are the VIP attendees for Reed ceremony. So we know that Chief Steward Ludwig is going to be there. That's his father. Prince Hells, Knight Marlene, Priest Balthazar, Lord Cristonia, Knight Jonata. Obviously, we say this Kuin, which I still have down as bishop here. Need to fix that. And Baron Kungund. And there's also Custodian Osrir. So we know the Custodian Osrir doesn't not like Reed or Reed's family. So that is likely to be the person who... That is the most conspicuous person who would send somebody after to kidnap Reed. Fix that. Oh, hold on. Copy. Paste. There we go. We can fix that real quick. So we've got a handful of people that are in this hall. Like, what kind of nobility? Are they the bad kind? Some kind of enemies in their way of making money and all that? Yeah, so the situation that Reed is in is that Reed is the son of Chief Steward Ludwig. So Ludwig is technically a custodian, so he is not noble. But he is a very, very powerful marcher lord. So he's in charge of the southern border, essentially, of Prince Hel's kingdom. But he's not noble himself. So the power change here is that his son will be enfeoffed. So his son will become a noble. And then their family is thus becomes nobility. And now have the ability to potentially have hereditary claims to lands and things that way. And also, Reed is going to be sent to the north border. So now you're going to have a family who now controls potentially two borders of a kingdom. So there's a lot of power play that's going on here. So they are not happy about that. People are not interested in letting that happen. Seeing a person who is already very, very powerful become even more powerful, and their family becoming a dynasty. But there are lots of people who are against this. So, there's a commendation ceremony. It's in Glory Bend Hall. So we have all these people that have lined up on the sides. At the far end, we have, standing up on the dais, we have Prince Hel's, or First Hel's. Next to him, we say this. Man, that's gonna take me so long to get it to roll off my tongue. We say this Kuin, who's overseeing the ritual, who is now, cleansing the air and burning the sage and preparing for this kind of holy ceremony, kind of state ceremony. So it's a little bit of both, as is usually the case for things back then, in the real world at least. So, that is what's happening. A bit too essentially. So let's go ahead and put that in here. Come here. Interior. Glory Bend Hall. And we'll just start straight up with Reed entering. So he makes the steps up to there. He's very dressed down, very very tightly. Like he's clearly in like good quality clothes, but they are not opulent. They're very plain clothes, to kind of show humility as part of the ceremony. So he kind of moves up. Envy is your answers. They will definitely get lots of assassination tips. What? Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's going to be difficult. He's also going to have to start dealing with factions outside of the country because he's going to be on the border. So, which we already know will be an issue. Because he also has to deal with Magistros Laios, who's going to be right next to him. He's going to enter this commendation hall. He makes his way towards the front of the hall, where we say this Kuin's going to come down, blow the incense-laden smoke around him, anoint him with the spiritual waters, the aqua vitae, give it to him, anoint him, and then he will take the act of homage, and he will get down on his knees in the Orin's position, which is the prayer position where like your arms are out in front. So he shows himself like wide open to the prince, like, hey, here I am. I bring no weapons to you. I have nothing on me This is my homage to you. I am down on my knees. You are superior to me. And they bring forward a relic for him to swear fealty on. What do we think the relic is in this one? I didn't really have a clear idea of what that relic might be. I think it's got to be something from the prince. So it might be like the prince's sword. So yeah, I think it's going to be the prince's sword. Hopefully this is Hell's sword. Like he has to like kiss the like big circular pommel of his sword. Can this be classified as backstory? Like we don't even have a class. So I guess the class will be decided by how things go there. Yeah, so we will get Reed's class as soon as he makes it to where he's going to be in fief. So we're going to have a few sessions because he has to survive to get to the place. Actually, about the thing that we're about to talk about. So one of the things that's happening here, and actually I'll blow this up a little bit. Let's go to, is 150 too large? Nah, I don't think so. There we go. I realize my stupid head's in the way. Is this part right here. The delivery of Seisin, which is a thing that has to happen. So he's done his homage, he's sworn his fealty, but this delivery of Seisin is basically giving him the land. It's the prince giving him the land, title to the land. Now, typically, that has to happen on the spot. So this is going to be symbolic because they're not going to go there. Because that's way out on the borders. They're not, the whole court's not traveling way out there. So this is going to be a very symbolic one. So he presents to our young Reed salt, which represents the soil of the earth that is his. Vinegar, which represents the waters of the prince's land. And a prick of blood, which represents the bounty of the land, so all the flora and fauna on it. And by doing this, I entitle you to the use of my lands. And then he is presented with his coat of arms. And I think as the coat of arms are being presented, you know, the doors open and somebody starts walking forward with a shield, and we'll jump back to the other two. Let's jump back up to the other two real quick. Does his active homage. His swears fealty, which essentially, swearing fealty is, you know, I swear to be your loyal servant, to defend you, never attack you, etc., etc. Their pledge of allegiance, essentially. Well, and accepts. Hit caps lock. Accepts symbolic. Listen. Let's hop back to our other two. So they have one more check they need to make, probably. So I think one of them can see in the dark. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go with the guy that can see in the dark. So I think Lord Keeper Gertrude will use her guidance, because otherwise she's not very helpful in the dark, to cast guidance on Cristof to help him. Not that he'll probably need it to help track this druid as they move through the snow. And so again, he still has advantage. Oh, no. Yeah. So we got a 17. All right, so we got a 17 survival, which puts us at quite high. So that's 30, 32, 51. So went well above and beyond that 42 effort DC that we were trying to do. We absolutely smoked it. Which I didn't think was going to be the case, but it's still being snowy and muddy makes tracking exceptionally easy, which was probably the real saver here. For you personally, it seems like it's getting to be a warrior or a paladin type of character, considering the legacy of his family and all that. I just think that something like a rogue available. Yeah, we don't know how his stats are going to fully pan out yet. So I've very much been waiting to see, because we're still rolling stats slowly as he gets through this. If it's not, it'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see what class he will end up landing on. But for right now, he will remain classless, without class. Unclassy. All right, so they put us that. All right, so what are these two going to find? So we got to ask an oracle question. Is what this map leading to a meetup point? I think that's extremely likely. So +5 to this roll. Yeah, 19. Now they're a little bit behind. Let's see. I'm going to say that they have a passive stealth. Which for Cristof, who's surprisingly not trained in stealth. But I'm going to give him the +5 because of the Mask of the Wild. And he is definitely in the wild right now. So I think just naturally he gets that Mask of the Wild from light obscurement because it's already dark. And they're moving through a forest. It's like that's about as obscure as you can get without light. So I'm going to give him a +5 on his. So he only has a +1, so that will be a 16 for him. And Gertrude, surprisingly, is trained in stealth. Interesting for a druid, isn't it? So she is going to have... no, she only has 12. Alright, so we're going to roll 2. They got to hit... What's that, 28? Just to see if they see these people. Which I don't think they're going to get. That's a 22. And I can't imagine that anybody that's here is going to have a +4 to their perception. Screwed up while typing 2 times, that's I see. Yeah. Alright, so they're gonna come up on this area. Nobody's gonna see them coming. They did say that they were gonna be quiet. What? So, on the meeting place. Are people here? I think almost assuredly we're tracking somebody, but we'll say just in case. Are people standing out in the open? Anybody standing out in the open, we should say. No. Oh, nobody's standing out in the open. Even with the +5, we didn't make it. All right. So the tracks lead up to this area, and nobody's here. So I think they start to... I'm going to say there's probably like a little glade or something like that. It's in there. And... right, we know that it's a prayer tree that's there. There's a big symbolic prayer tree that's there. So there's these tassels that are kind of slowly shifting in the wind at night. These ribbons and streamers that are coming off this tree in the darkness. There's probably some like little fetishes, like little pieces of like wooden totems and little pieces of maybe like glass or tin or things like that. That are also maybe like clicking around there. So it's not completely silent. It's like... It's almost like a light wind chime kind of feel. And I think they roll up and they're kind of at the edge of that glade looking in, and there's nobody there. I assume that the footprints also go out there. Is that the case? Almost assuredly. Okay, yes. So the footprints do go out there. We're pretty far away, so I'm going to give him a perception check, because only one of them can see in the dark. 13. I think this is going to be a difficult one, so I'm going to add 3 to that to make it a 16. That he's going to be able to discern what's going on without having to step into the open area. He has a +3. Okay, so he needs a 13. That's not a 13. He's like, it's really muddy out there. I can't tell what's happening. Shit. Kind of looking around. What do you think? Should we go out there? Kind of looking at Gertrude. I don't know. Well, they may have fled knowing that it was a boss job. Keep following them, or what's the chance they're waiting for us? Alright. I'm gonna go out, you cover me. From the tree line. Gertrude kind of nods at him. Cristof is gonna... And I don't think Cristof, for whatever reason, this stat block did not come with a ranged weapon. So he'll have his sword out. So he's kind of limber up and don his shield and pull his sword free quietly and start to slink out of the darkness into this open glade to see, following the footprints to see if he can figure out what's going on out there. I'll give him a stealth roll, but as soon as he breaks cover, he's going to be pretty easy to see because he's going to be standing out in the open. Assuming they have any sort of dark vision, they're going to be able to see him pretty easily. But I'll give him a roll. All right, he has a 14. That's not great. Let's just see what the DC for that was going to be. 13. Okay. So either somebody doesn't see him because they're distracted, or nobody's there, or they're waiting. One of those two things is happening. He doesn't know. So he's going to follow, Kristof's going to follow those footprints up. Hey, how's it going? Doing some solo D&D? That's what's going on. Just for the fun of it. Elemental monk, celestial warlock, ranger, whatever. And sorcerer of some kind. Always sorcerer of some kind. He can always be a sorcerer. Kristof's going to move off as he gets closer towards this prayer tree that's kind of in the middle of this forest glade. It's cold. There's light wind that's blowing through here. Moving through. He's starting to take a look around. So we're going to give him another survival check. See if, once he gets closer, if he can discern what's going on with these muddy and snowy footprints. Okay. So that's going to be a nice dirty 20 for us. I'll roll the DC, but I can't imagine that it's going to be that. It's not. The DC was 15. Okay. I think at this point we need to do a roll on one of our other tables. So let's, you know what? I did not have it open. Hold on. You're going to have to stare at my face real quick. That way I can pull up this file. Where is it? There it is. Okay. There we go. Now back from my glorious face. Full screen. There we go. No, not a party of 4. And right now it's just 2 sidekicks hanging out by themselves. With our main PC off in a totally different area right now. Becoming entitled, becoming a noble. Alright, so let's find out. I want to see like what he understands from looking at these tracks. Get an idea. Alright, 47. So lose 20. Lose hazard. Lose hazard. What could that mean? So lose hazard, I mean, the two of them are hazardous to these people. So they are probably trying to throw them off the scent. So they probably made a whole bunch of mess here. Trying to screw up any sort of pathfinding to figure out which way they went. I think that's probably what's happening here. We rolled pretty well though, so I think we're able to pick something out. We've been following one set of footprints for a long time, so we can probably pick out those footprints and keep following them. Can we discern anything from any of the other footprints? I think that's extremely unlikely, so I'm going to give it a little roll here, but -5. Yeah, no. So anytime we do one of these oracle rolls, if we roll 11 or higher, the answer is yes. If we roll 10 or less, it's no. We'll throw modifiers on there like that, where it's plus or -5, depending on how likely I think that outcome is. Just keep things a little more random. Okay, so we see some other things. I'm pretty sure we can discern. We rolled a dirty 20. We beat the DC by 5. So I think we can determine how many people were here pretty easily. We know there are at least 2 that were here because they were meeting somebody. So I'm going to roll, let's say 2d3, because I don't want there to be too many. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3. Okay, so there were 4 people that were meeting here. So we're going to put that down here. On the meeting place. Like they do throw their pursuers off their trail. 4 people met here. One was our tiefling druid. All right. So we know one person's here, and we can definitely discern who their tracks are. We can't tell anything else from any of the other tracks as to... I was hoping maybe like the cut of the boot or something like that would tell us, give us some indication about like wealth status or at least size and or sex. Sometimes that's helpful. You can determine that from footprints. So, but we're not able to determine it. Everything's really muddy and kind of bogged down. So now I just want to make one random thing. Because now they've been sticking around. So here's the thing. I'm going to give Gertrude because she's covering him. So she's going to make a perception check. She's doing it at disadvantage because she can't see in the dark very well. Not that she needed it. So even with her +2 to perception, yeah, that's a whole lot of nothing. It's like 7. Yeah, Tiefling's the demon-related one. Yeah, the guys with the horns. Yep. All right, with a 7, we'll check the DC real quick, but I can't imagine that the 7 meets or beats. Hey, what do you know? It doesn't. So that's going to be a DC 12. All right, so she's trying to keep an eye out, but again, she can't see in the dark. I mean, technically, she probably would have given herself guidance in that moment. But even if she got a 4 on guidance, it wouldn't have helped her in this situation. Okay, so what I want to know is something bad going to happen here? Is anybody going to... Something bad... Honestly, is something going to attack them? Could be a trap, could be a person. Is something going to jump out at them? No, not at all. This place is empty. After a few minutes of looking around, Cristof just kind of gives a whistle and motions Gertrude to come out. These people are long gone. They have taken off. They saw us coming. They scattered to the winds. They tried to throw us off the scent. We could follow one of them if we wanted to, but honestly, we should probably start heading back, I think. And what are your thoughts, Gertrude? I think Gertrude's going to agree. Yes, we've been away too long from the young master. So they're going to pack it in. Before they do that, I think I'm going to give them one good investigation roundabout. So I'm going to let them do it separately because it's weird because one of them has a better investigation score, but the other one can see in the dark. Though actually they know they're alone, so they would definitely use a light source at this point. So she will take out, so she won't have to take that disadvantage. And then I will just have Cristof help her. Empty like my wallet. So they're going to take a look around just to see if there's anything worth finding. So she gets a +5. Cristof's going to help, so she'll get advantage on the roll. Woof! 24. Nice. So, I'm not... Yeah, I mean, I'll roll it. I think... Okay. Alright, I was like, well, I shouldn't roll it. Oh, it got close. That was a DC 19. That's very close. No, that's... I'm messing up my own thing. 0. No, that's right. It's DC 19. Yes, that's right. Screwed up my own system. Alright, so if there's anything to be found here, we find it. But the question is there anything to be found here? I kind of think not likely. I don't think these people were here very long. But there's a chance they could have dropped something. But I think it's unlikely. So -3 to this roll. Well, I'm not the greatest mathematician, but 3 minus 3 is pretty much 0. So there ain't nothing here. So they spend, 10, 15 minutes kind of combing through here, slogging through the mud and snow, looking to see if there's anything of value, any more notes or anything that got dropped. And they're like, there's nothing here. So they decide, all right, well, we should probably pack it in and head back. So they are going to do that. Yeah, sometimes there's just nothing there. That's how it goes. These people weren't camped here or anything, so it doesn't really make sense for there to have been a bunch of stuff laying around. So unfortunately, they don't get any good information. And they find no conclusive evidence. And decide to move back. And head back. Again, they could try to keep chasing down that druid, but the further they chase, the further away they get away from their charge, the person who's like kind of who they're supposed to be protecting. So they don't want to like go trundling off into the countryside, just leaving him off by himself for a totally long time. So they're going to pack it in and start heading back. So I think as they head back, we had this other aspect that we wanted to talk about them, right? Why are they invested in saving him? This is actually a great time to bring this up. As to why are they making the decision to care about Reed specifically? And we can answer that for both of them. We did Gertrude first, so let's do Cristof this time. So Cristof's reasoning for going back is like, hey, we should probably head back to Reed. Are we escorting somebody? So Reed, who is our main PC, is sitting a lone vigil and was almost kidnapped. And so those two were chasing one of the kidnappers that got away to try to figure out who was trying to kidnap him. But unfortunately, weren't able to track him down. They know who one of the people was. Gertrude knows who that person is. But we don't know who was maybe the plot or mastermind behind the whole thing. We just know who sort of like the lowest level lackey was. So for Cristof kind of thinking about it, he's like, we should go back. It's my duty to make sure that he's okay. There are elements that are still out here. We need to save him. If we don't save him, we're going right back to where we were. So, this new opportunity kind of goes away in the wind if we don't protect him. So I think we should head back. So I think, we know that they are in for this new opportunity. Someone's looking for a place to belong. The other one's looking for trying to find late in life kind of usefulness, utility, trying to be something that matters late in life, but also find a position where they might be able to kind of retire. And more than what they are, which they're kind of in a position right now where they're with Ludwig that they don't really have a spot anymore. That's sort of his investment for saving them. So Gertrude is looking for a new opportunity. Her reasoning is a little bit different, though. She is charged by Wesathus Kuin to be like, all right, I have to protect Reed. It's Kuin's orders to make him successful. Alive is not successful. Well put. Let's head back. Yeah, because technically, Wesathus Kuin has given her the orders. And this is an opportunity, again, for her to kind of like find her spot. I think when you look at Lord Keeper Gertrude, who we have her sheet up right now, and you have somebody who has so many skills: animal handling, arcana, history, investigation, medicine, nature, perception, religion, stealth, like all this stuff, herbalism kit, land vehicles, like has such a broad proficiency base that somebody like Wesathus Kuin looks at them and is like, you have the ability to do a lot of things, and you are being underutilized as a lore keeper here. So we're going to put you in a position where somebody who's going to need a lot of this kind of stuff, and you're going to be their major domo, and you're going to make sure that they are successful. Because Wesathus Kuin is one of our family's allies. Yeah, so someone trying to create a great start to get some friends and future party members. Yeah, so the idea is these are our starting retainers that may or may not shift as the kind of adventure goes on. Yeah, their objective is to protect Reed and make Reed successful, specifically in the first year. So protect him and keep him alive and establish his new home base on beyond what will become the northern frontier of the princedom. More connections or abilities. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. They have a long ways to go, though. They have to actually get there first, so we can take a look at the map. So we are right here in this little hex, and we've got to get up here. So we got a long road ahead of us just to get to the place where our home's going to be, and then we have to build that home. That's what we're going to do. So they turn around and start heading back. They've kind of done their thing. We can hop back over. Let's so Gertrude is ordered by Kuin to make Reed successful. And Cristof has basically been charged by Ludwig to keep Reed alive. Time for a walk. Alright, so we will jump back here. So we have done the symbolic Saison back in Glorybund Hall. What else do we have to do for this? We swear our fealty. We've done our livery of Saison. That's right. So they are presenting the coat of arms. Do I have it? I don't think that I have it with me, because I made one for the thumbnail. You know what? Again, I'll throw you back to my beautiful face while I pull that up. It'll be just the thumbnail one because I want to go digging for the actual image. So you're gonna have to get the one that's got the text on it. You'll be fine. Even though it's not ideal, but that is what it is. Let's go. Come on. Da-da-da. And da-da-da. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Let me throw you guys back over. Oh, there we go. So, get out of here. This is essentially what his heraldry looks like. So we've got this yellow and red diamond pattern with this blue manticore that's on the front of it. Manticore, of course, being based off of the prophetic vision that he had. It's been drawn up, so that is what his shield or coat of arms is going to look like. Though obviously it won't have text on it. It's just... I didn't want to go digging for the original image. I forgot where I've saved it. I will have to go find it. But yeah, blue manticore on this field of what they call lozenge diamonds of yellow and red. Or gold and red. So there's a shield that comes out, and the shield is presented... Actually, they don't use shields. They use these sort of like banner tapestries. So that marches up the hall. It has this blue manticore, you know, in its garden statin, so it's facing one way with its head turned this way. On that field of red and gold. And so that's kind of... So the guard brings it up to the front, so now we have Prince Hel's, and on one side we have Kuin with Sathas Kuin, and on the other side we have this guard who's holding up the banner that's showing this new coat of arms. And now we will become enfiefed. So to do that, actually, I have to open another document. Sorry, man, sorry about this. It's almost like I don't have this planned. Let's see, I need because I'm gonna need this one specifically for this one. All right, that's it. Back to our regularly scheduled program. So I need my hex stocking update stuff because we need holdings. So we're in the part where we're about to get enfiefed. So let's... So we are a low level person, so we're going to be in this area. Now, because of our familiarity, we are going to get, and some of the setup rolls that we did for this little adventure campaign, whatever we want to call it, we get to roll advantage on this roll. So we're going to roll 2d10, and we're going to take the higher. And whatever the higher is going to tell us what our new title is. And that will tell us, presumably, how many little hexes of land we're going to get. Which is very, very useful. I just want to make sure, I'm going to check this real quick, just to make sure that I am doing this right, because I haven't looked at this in about a week. Make sure that I have this. Alright, so we got our plots, main quest. We got the Menace. Bastion Dominion play. Okay, well, it's on there. Is there other places I could have put that in? Let's just keep going. Alright, make sure. Family status, okay. Parents have a medium relationship with the prince. Prince has a friendly relationship with the Hells. Improves our initial title and land claim size, which is what we did when we were doing the "this is your life" kind of aspect from Xanthar's Guide, which I have next to me. So we did that. We did the Pantheon of the Church. So he's recognized by adult by law, which is celebrated with a feast. Yep. Okay, yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure that, you know, dotting all my I's and crossing all my T's, that we are getting things correct. So are we taking Reed to the group or settlement represented by the Manticore to a ceremony? So we're doing the ceremony right now. Once he gets that, he will be given this, like, hey, we're giving you this land, this area. You go pick out your parcel of land in this area. So we'll go there, we'll basically do surveying to be like, this is the land that we want. It'll be officially done with that livery station. We did the very symbolic one here, but that will be the official one. And then we will be able, we have to start building our holding, because right now it's just nothing. Actually, we don't know what's out there. There could be people out there. There could be groups, there could be settlements. So this may be a hostile takeover. We don't know yet. That's the problem. So our young Lord Reed might be going right into a war of expansion and aggression. Maybe or maybe not. We don't know. Hopefully not. So we're going to cross our fingers and hope that what we find up there is empty land or empty enough land. And we don't start a war. If you were transported to the world of D&D or all fantasy games and had to make your perfect character as yourself, raise class, multi-class, interesting. I don't know. Probably dwarfs are generally my favorite. Class? Ugh. I don't know. NPC, probably. Adventurer sounds like a very dangerous job that would get you killed. I have a hard one. I don't know where it goes. Three business days to decide. Okay, so let's roll our 2d10s. All right, let's roll our first one. 9's very good. The only thing that's better than that is 10. So we're going to be at least a baronet. Come on, big money, no whammies. Okay, we're a baronet. And Prince Hells confirms on us the status of Baronet Reed. And gives us whatever that symbol is. It's probably, honestly, it's going to probably be our ring and our scrolls of pedigree that he will present to them. There's lots of clapping and celebration. So we're going to get 1d6 plus 6 league hexes. Which I guess we can go ahead and roll for now. Oh, baby, we got the max. Nice, we're going to have 12 league hexes. That's great. We're going to have a lot of land. That's super useful for us. All right. Good to know. All right. Reed is lifted to the station of Baronet. And we're going to have 12 league hexes, which is the max that we could have gotten. So that's great. Do you think you're safe as an NPC? Not at all. I don't think so. But I think being an adventurer is even more dangerous than being an NPC. Yeah, murder hobos. You got to be fearful of these crazed adventurer people. So it's just like armed war bands that just roam the countrysides. Beholden to no king or country. They're like mercenaries, but worse. Alright, so we're lifted to the station of Baronet. That is fantastic. That went almost as well as it could have. We almost maxed it out. That's great. That is so awesome. I was not expecting that. I thought we were going to be kind of middle of the road. So, wow. So we're going to get a bunch of stuff. That's great. So good. So we've done that. So we've got our title and approximate holdings. Our retainers have concluded their investigation, so they are making it back into the castle town at this point. We don't really need to check in on them. I don't think anything's going on with them. You know what? I lied. Let's just I'll roll. Little thing. Does something interesting happen to the two of them when they get back into the castle town? Yes. Okay, something is interesting going to happen to them. Considering that you have a fantasy character, not D&D based, I think that would be one, but I'm more of a mercenary here. Yeah. You own so much lands. Yeah, I mean, it's not huge, but it is very sizable holding. it will be quite a sizable holding. All right, what is this interesting? I don't have any idea of what's interesting to them as they kind of wobble their way back into town. So let's roll on here, see if we get anything fun. 99, 96. Okay, big numbers. Rest from harm. Rest from harm. So something that's going to be rest from harm. Oh, you know what? You know what's probably going to happen is that as soon as they get back into the town, the guards are going to start to grab them and harass them because, hey, somebody died and we know that you were there and you guys have just been off in the woods. What have you been doing? He was there. And then I think somebody's going to step into... We want rest from harm, so I think that's kind of protection or pulled away from harm. I think... Who's going to step in? Let's do it this way. Is it somebody connected to Cristof? Yes. Okay. So I think it is, I think it's Ludwig, Chief Steward Ludwig, who steps in at this point because, right, we're out of sync time-wise. So this is not when he would be at the ceremony. So he'd step in and be like, what's the issue here? This is my man. What is the issue here? And is able to kind of talk them down. And kind of the guards are like, yeah. Like, don't harass my people just because they were trying to protect somebody on my orders. And so the guards are kind of going to fuck off, essentially. And Ludwig's going to turn back to them. I noticed you weren't with Reed. No, sir. We were following the trail of the people who attacked him. And what if they had doubled back? Reed's safe, by the way. What if they had doubled back? Sorry, sir. I will keep him in my sights. See that you do. All right. Get out of here. Kind of push them out of here. Your character, you started him as the guy who would take any job as long as it pays well. No, he's done it well. Especially assassination. Isekai, evil wizards. Scanned for knowledge and power before getting away. Nice. Fun. Nice. Yeah, Reed is safe. The two of them are back in there. The commendation ceremony at this point has concluded. There's a bit of a reception, at which point our retainers will have made their way into the reception. They'll have cleaned themselves up and be more presentable for the reception. And they're kind of like off to the side because they're not nobles. So they're kind of, on the fringe of servants and retainers and things like that. So there's a lavish spread. Prince Hel's puts out this wonderful banquet. Most importantly, we're going to give some gifts. That is kind of the culture here. It's like, oh, you've been noted by the prince. You've been raised to the nobility. We're going to provide you the proper thing to do is kind of almost like a birthday. It'd be like, here are some gifts because of your accomplishment. So we're going to get some gifts from everybody involved. All right. Before we do that, let's do this. Go down to session 2. So down we're going to do interior, or technically exterior. Your Castletown. And upon arrival, retainers are harangued by guards. Yeah, Chief Steward. Vig intercedes. He reprimands. It's both, but especially Cristof for not staying at Reed's side to protect him. And that'll do it. Alright, so then we have interior. Glory Bend Hall again. So we have our reception. Yay! So we're gonna get some gifts. Wait, so Reed is a noble and he owns lands. He just became a noble. He just went through his ceremony and was just granted lands. And does he have any money? He only has a little bit of money on him. He can get paid for protecting him? No. This is just the start of their job. This is their assignment. Do we count taxes as his money? Eventually, yes. Taxes will become his money. But we have to get to our place and start to tax people first. So for right now, we don't have a lot of money. But a lot of these gifts that are coming might be cash. So let's look at our gifts. So we're going to get some gifts, which is beautiful. We want the gifts. Give me the gifts. We've got our VIP attendees. I've already got slots in here for them. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start. Let's start from the bottom up. Let's do it that way. I think that's what I'm. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. I've changed my mind how I want to lay this out. That way we'll kind of go from the bottom up one at a time. And we are going to put Prince Hells. I'm just going to take him and put him at the top. Because he's the big kahuna. We have our father, Chief Steward Ludwig, and we've got our friends, Setha's Kuin and Baron Kungund. And we got a single enemy who's in attendance, Custodian Osrier. As long as I'm not the one who's getting taxed, money's still money. Or to be sustainable, or people kamikaze themselves at you. Yeah. Gotta keep the taxes in line. You raise them too high, the peasants start to rebel. Either that or they keep complaining about how they're hungry all the time. Ugh. Like, just eat the cake, people. Alright. So I said we're going to start from the bottom. I don't want to start with Custodian Osrier. So let's start with Knight Dronata. You know what? I need... I don't want to pull that document up, so I'm going to use my hard copy. So this is my Dungeon Master binder, but most importantly, why I grabbed it is that it has treasure tables in the back of it. So that's what we are going to do here. Is we're going to roll up some random treasure. As for what we're going to get. Because he's a big mucky muck, all of these are going to be with advantage because you could get really poor really quick. You can be very, very low level. So we will... or do I just want to roll it? I may just roll it straight and then... No, let's roll with advantage. That'll be more fun. Except for... Also right here, but we don't have to worry about that. Now I'm stopping myself. Friends should give us more, but... Maybe multiples. How about that? That makes more sense. Alright. They'll do multiples. Natural 20 off the block. That's great. That's fantastic. A natural 20 means confirmed magic item. So we're getting the magic item right off the gate from Knight Jonata. Let's roll another... I said we were rolling these all with advantage. 12. Okay, so it's going to be common. That's fine. And for this, I'm going to roll 2d10. Take the higher. Didn't matter. Same things. So we're going to get some sort of common item with charges on it. And we might figure that out later. I'll probably figure that out off stream. Just because it's not that much fun to watch me just sift through D&D table looking for magic items. So, Knight Jonata is going to give us magic item. And we can change the music too. We're no longer in the forest. Let me do that. Critical success! Yeah. Let's look for something. Look for, oh, you know what? Do it. Show it to me. Hello? The Privy Council. Let's do this one. I think this one will work. Festival. Knight Jonata comes over. What does Knight Jonata look like again? So we've got this muscular half-elf, kind of disinterested, outspoken. Okay. Like, congratulations on your ennoblement. You're probably gonna need this. Good luck, kid. Not kind of there because they have to be there, not there because they necessarily want to know that or care about us. So, yeah, we're gonna get that magic item. I'll have to figure it out. It's probably gonna be some kind of wand because it's got charges. The common wands kind of suck, though, so I might have to figure out something else for it. I might have to make something custom, which will be fine. So that's the first one. Let's go, let's hop up to Baron Kungund. Baron Kungund's going to give us two things because he's a friend. So let's see what he's going to give us. Ooh, 6 or 7. Alright. This is super. Pocket contents. That's funny. Alright, so I have a separate table of treasures. When you roll very low on the treasure table, you get pocket contents, which is just like stuff that's in people's pockets. So 4 or 5. Okay. So I rolled a narcotic, so he's going to give him some sort of narcotic. Or... or I got food carbs. I'm going to go with food carbs. So Baron Kungund comes up and says, I am going to... Congratulations, boy. Baron Kungund's a dwarf. Congratulations, boy, and claps the halfling on the shoulder. Congratulations, boy. I know you're gonna do great. I've decided it's late in the season. You probably won't have time to plant your corn before it's too late by the time you get up there. So I figured I'd give you a supply. So I took it from my granary, and once you're there, I can have it transferred to yours. Once you're set up. So let's figure out the kind of dollar amount on that. So yeah, just gonna literally give us basically flour, which is great because we're gonna need to eat, and people are gonna need to eat, and we're not gonna have time to plant crops. Is the problem, like grain, because it's too late in the season already. By the time we get there, we won't be able to like get the field. We won't be able to make fields, plow them, and get the grain in. So that's okay. Parankungun's gonna give us some. We'll just say cornmeal. Yeah, cornmeal. But how much is he going to give us? That's really the big question. So I'm going to roll. Again, we're rolling with advantage on these rolls. Because these are people who presumably like us. Again, doesn't matter if you roll the same thing. So, 9 and 9. Alright. D20 of... Oh, gosh. Golly, Miss Molly. Dang. Alright. 10. Okay. So 10 coppers worth of meal, which is not a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan that. Because that's only like 5 pounds of flour. Which is nothing. That's not enough. So we've got to get better than that. 18's better. Let's use the 18 roll. Alright, that would be a D100, which we can do. Yes, we can do that. Okay. A D100 is silver. That's much more useful for us. We rolled low. But we are going to give ourselves advantage on it. Better. Okay. Okay, so 80, 80 silver of it. So that's... Yeah, that's much better. That's 400 pounds. So we'll go with that. So 400 pounds of essentially flour or cornmeal. That is significantly more use. That can feed people. Yeah, we could have gotten drugs. That would have been a very weird gift. We could still get it. We should get invincible while super high. You'll at least think you're invincible. That's the important part. 10 copper. Ores, coins, bars, coins. Yeah, silver. So yeah, we ended up with 80 silver. And there's a pound of flour is essentially 2 coppers. So we got 400 pounds of flour. That will feed us. We should create a drug empire. We can do it if we work together. Alright, so that is gift number 1 from him. Let's do another gift. He's friendly with us. He's going to give us another gift. 17. Cold, hard cash. Love it. 14. Okay. A D50. No. He's our friend. He's not trying to insult us. He's not going to give us copper. I have to roll until I get something. It's at least gold. Okay. We'll take the gold. Okay. Hopefully higher than that. Either. Okay. We'll round that to 35. And 35 gold. He's going to give us 35 gold. Which is actually gives us the ability to buy, what is that, like even more food if we needed to later. So that's, the money's actually worth more than the actual thing that he gave us. But the trade goods are super useful. Alright, let's, I think we can close this one. I don't think we're gonna need that anymore. Alright, so he gave us that, and he gave us 35 gold. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're just buying basic supplies, that's quite a bit. Thank you, Baron Good. We'll put it to good use. I know, lad. Anyways, enjoy your party. He kind of sloshes some wine. He wanders off. Alright, let's do another neutral. Lord Cristonia. There's Lord Cristonia. Alright, so tone tall, halfer, outspoken, wheezy. Kind of comes up. Well met. Baronet Reed. Congratulations. Hey. There are a lot of eyes on you today. Well, I have gifts. A gift for you to help you with your new start. Let's put it that way. All right, let's roll for his. They got any whiskey? Maybe. But they're fancy, so they drink wine. They're nobles. Alright, well, that's not a great start. He's gonna give us some sort of trade good, though. That's not necessarily bad. What's he gonna give us? 2 or 19. So he's either giving us some art or decorations, or some textiles. I think textiles make more sense. That would be a lot easier to move. Though, I mean, he could give us like a... I don't know. Let's see what we get on the money-wise. Maybe that'll give me some better insight. Alright, I rolled a 15, which means a D50. A D50 of what? A D50 of silver pieces. Okay. 38, which we'll just round up to 40. So 40 silver of textiles. The 40 silver art object or decoration is not a lot, but textiles, that can give us quite a bit. Looking at cotton. So we have, what was it, 40 silver. 40 divided by 8. Okay, so... it's still not a ton. And well, they might give us canvas. That might be more useful for us than cotton. It's like you could have given us some like cotton or like linen. But yeah, let's go with canvas. I think we'll get canvas, which is a silver a yard. So we can get 40 yards of canvas. That's good. That'll go a long ways. And I got you a supply of canvas. You can use it maybe for trading, or I'm sure you'll need it for tents or things of that nature until you get a more permanent house built, home, if you will, a hall. Yeah. Thank you. That's a very, very kind gift and very useful, Lord Cristonia. So yeah. Well, my best, boy. You'll need it. You would get some random Leonardo da Vinci art pieces. If we had rolled really high, I would have gone for an art piece, but a 40 silver art piece is not a lot. If we know the art objects kind of start in the, like, gold, usually. just for flavor. Just get a. I was thinking they could have given him like a really nice chair, and just be like, how do I move this chair from here to where I'm going? Just carrying around the chair all the time, just to get it to the place. It's like it probably makes more sense to cover like yards of canvas rolls. Super, way easier to move. All right, so that's them. Love it. Who should we do next? Let's do Papa Dearest. Papa Dearest. Now, our father will of course dote on this somewhat. Ludwig is going to give us, let's say, 3 gifts. I think that seems fair. And Hells will give us... He might not give us the most numerous gifts, but he's definitely going to give us whatever we get from him is going to be the most probably expensive thing. Because he has to be magnanimous because he's the ruler. Yeah, you put the chair in your pocket. It's not that hard. Happy birthday to me. What are we getting? I close my thing. 9. I believe that is trade goods. So I could take trade goods, or I could take pocket contents. I'm gonna take trade goods off the bat. All right. So he could be giving us a few different things. 13 or 19. Ingots or ore, super useful, very heavy. 19 is textiles again. We've already got quite a bit of textiles, so let's see what money we get, because ingots are kind of expensive. True 20, baby. All right, so D100. 14 to 13 silver pieces. Okay. That might not make more sense for us. But it is a D100. Alright, so it's going to be like 75. 75 silver. Let's see what ingots are. You get some copper ingots pretty cheap. So we have 75 silver. So I think it's going to have to be... It can either be iron or copper. You know, it makes it very... Let's go with iron, because that's the same as canvas. So we're going to get 75 pounds of iron ore. That will be super useful. We'll need to make nails and all sorts of stuff. We'll say ingots. So that's actually super useful. I'm fine with platinum or steel. Yeah. It could be silver. Yeah, we wouldn't get much silver though, is the thing. Sometimes we need some of these like raw components to make stuff. We're gonna need the canvas for like tents probably when we get there. We're gonna need the iron ingots to make all sorts of stuff. Hinges, nails, shoes for horses. Okay, actually, we probably won't be getting horses. Horses be expensive. Yeah, technically it's not a lot of iron ingot, because iron's pretty heavy. But yeah, we're definitely gonna need some way to transport that. All this stuff. We're gonna get a bunch of stuff, so we're definitely going to need at least a cart. Thus far. We'll send for the cornmeal. We're not going to take the 400 pounds of cornmeal with us, probably, because that's just giant bushels of flour sacks. Yeah, how much is that in kilograms? 75, that's 30 something, right? Yeah, 35 kilograms, thereabouts. Yeah, that's the thing with D&D, is that it's a U.S. product, so it's going to use the imperial system. All right. So we're gonna get some iron ingots. That's good, we're gonna need that. I like getting these good trade goods. What else is Father Dearest giving to us? Father Dearest is going to give us 7 or 13. So another pocket contents. Or another trade good. You get a lot of trade goods. That's by design of how I do this. How I do my treasure is that most of the time you just don't get money. Most of the time you get like stuff that's worth things. Let's go with trade goods though. I'm excited to see what more trade goods we can get. 17 or 8. Preserved food, very useful for us. Or 8 containers, like barrels. I mean, technically useful. I think I'm probably going to go with preserved food. But let's see. Let's see what we roll up here. 16. All right, D50. Big money, big money. Ho ho! She. All right, well, we rolled a 20. So we're probably going to audible on that. And we're going to go from our preserved food and instead, well, we might do containers. Containers? Like, we could have a real fancy, like, locked chest, like a huge coffer or something like that. They're just straight up empty containers. Sometimes you just find containers. I was like, but we could have like a really nice strong box, which we could hold our money in, so people can't take it from us, which would be very useful. But also that's a ton of food. Holy moly. Because we're going to say that preserved food is essentially going to be rations of this type, and that's a lot of food. Because rations are pretty cheap. Rations. I know I've got them in here. Yeah, because even just a chest in D&D is like 5 gold. And we're going to have so much because we ended up with, it's going to be 1d50 platinum. So it's going to be a lot of whatever it is. Yeah, like a day of rations is only 5 silver, so half a gold. It would be so much food. So much food. But presumably we will need food because we are not going to have food for like an entire year. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm just trying to think container-wise. I don't think can even make sense. Because the most expensive thing is 5 gold. Now, technically we could roll 1 platinum. That could happen. So I guess we should try to figure out what the actual thing is. We didn't. We got 44, which we'll round up to 45. So 45 platinum. Which could buy us 90 chests. If we wanted 90 chests. That chests are big. They're big and tough. They're made out of wood. Takes craftsmanship and metal. That's why it's expensive. And it's just 5 gold. That's for what it is, comparatively to other containers you can have. Alright. This is really a sticker. I think I have to take the preserved food, unfortunately. I don't really want to, but I'm gonna take preserved food. Oh lordy. Okay. So we rolled 45. So then 10 is... That's 900 rations. Sure. We'll write it down. Thank you, Papa. 900 rations. Hey, yeah. I mean, honestly, that will feed 3 people for a year. So it sounds like a ton, but it's actually not that much. It takes one guy with an axe to break it. Yeah, yeah. But he might break whatever's inside, too. If you take an axe to a chest. It depends if something valuable's inside that's fragile. Alright, and Daddy Dearest is going to give us one more thing. Yeah, our people aren't going to starve, I guess. Which is good. That's a major concern going into this. That was one of the larger concerns I had going into this. It's like, we're going out into the wild and only really one person knows what to do in the wild of our characters. And they have to get 3 people to survive. Not impossible, but would be like a full-time job for them. This means that they don't have to do that all the time, which is nice. Alright, let's do one more for Daddy Dearest. Daddy? What have you brought me, Daddy? Woohoo! We got another 19. That's also a magic item. If we want the magic item. Or another trade goods. Dad, I think I have enough trade goods. Can I get a magic item, please? Let's go with magic item. 6 and 6, didn't matter. So it's definitely going to be common. Five and 2. Alright, so it's some multi-use magic item. That's fine. Again, I'll figure out this stuff off stream because it's not fun to just watch me scroll through that stuff. Alright, so we have a magic item from Daddy Dearest. It's, again, common. This time it's a multi-use. So a multi-use would be like something like a lot of the ointments or salves or like the magical pigments that are like, they're not one-time uses, but they're finite. They don't have charges. They're like, oh, you can use this 7 times or whatever, and then it's just done. So something like that. Yeah, it feels like it would be a pain in the ass to teach others. Yeah. Yeah, basic survival skills would be a pain in the butt to teach the other people. One of them, Gertrude's can do a lot of stuff. But Reed, at least right now, is kind of functionally useless in most ways. And he'll get better, we hope, later. But for right now, he's kind of sucks. By design, he's supposed to suck. He's supposed to rely, especially in the early parts of this adventure, very much on his retainers for success. Like I said, to survive, that's why Cristof's there, and to actually be successful, and that's Gertrude's job, to ensure that he's successful. Alright. So, Daddy's done. Love it. Alright, let's go back and do, you know what? I think it's time to do Custodian Osrier. So, by tradition, he has to give a gift. But Osrier does not like us. He is a brawny half-elf. He is unfriendly. And he has a high wisdom. I'm thinking maybe he might try to... I want him to be classless and useless. Reed is just a fop. He's just absolutely useless at everything. Completely being held up by the common folk around him through his own ineptitude. So I think maybe, let's see what we get on here, but I'm kind of hoping that we get like a white elephant situation, because that seems like the perfect kind of like dig to be like, hey, here's this gift that's going to be a huge problem for you. Like a big chair. So does that mean that we roll with advantage or disadvantage and just pick whatever seems like the most pain in the ass thing? I think maybe we roll with advantage still, just to give us something that's a little bit, just to give us more options. Or at least roll twice and pick whatever it is. Which means I can give him pocket contents or a magic item. Yeah. I think he's going to give him a magic item. Let's see what pocket contents are. But I think he's going to give him a magic item. 3, 6, or 4, 1. Which would just be like food, or which we have plenty of, or a flask of some sort of alcohol, probably. So is that a critical success or a critical fail? Yeah, good question. That is a very good question. So I think he's going to give him a magic item. This magic item is either going to be something like the inverse. I can't remember what the item's called, of the bag of holding, the bag of devouring. Is that what it is? Or you give it, or it's going to be just straight up probably cursed. Or something's going to be wrong with it and we don't know what it is. Or he stole it from somebody and gave it to us, or it's going to be, there's going to be like, this is definitely a gift that seems like it's a gift and then it's not going to be a gift. I like this stupid trope of the party being all firepower and him just being a nice guy. Hi, how's it going? These are my killer friends. Task failed successfully moment. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go. He's gonna get a magic item. God, I want it to be high too. Okay, baby. I only roll high when it's stuff that's gonna be bad for us, apparently. So it's gonna be an uncommon magic item. Super duper. And 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So it's a multi-use uncommon item. And I don't know. Unfortunately, on some of these, I just don't know what they're going to be. So it's uncommon. Multi-use. Cursed or otherwise bad for us. Or bad for Reed, I should say. Good roll when bad, bad roll when good. Yep. The bag of handling, yeah. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I have to think up something. I may just make it like a standard item and not figure out what the bad part of it is until we use it. And if we have to attune to it, then probably when we attune to it, because then we got to figure out if it's cursed or not if we attune to it. So Austria has given us this thing. Just kind of like shoves like a little box at us. There you go. Trust me, you're going to want to use that. It just kind of wanders off. Alright. And that has my curiosity piqued as to what the hell that is. Okay, Priest Balthasar. How about that? Let's do Priest Balthasar. Priest Balthasar is... where's he at? I think he was up here somewhere. Priest Balthasar. Because I think Priest Balthasar is like a priest. Like he's one of the new religion people. I think. Anyways. Cursed ring that traps your soul. Sounds familiar. Yeah. Who knows? Knowing my luck, it's probably a card from the deck of many things. And we're going to turn it over, and it's either going to be really good for us or really bad for us. Alright. Where's he at? He's Balthasar, another halfling. Or halfer in this setting, because in this setting I have gnomes and halflings that are just one species. You can choose whichever one mechanically, I just treat them the same in the setting. because they're so close already. So fidgety priest Balthasar is going to give us something. Congratulations, kid. Hey, it's gonna be tough out there, but hey, he kind of like puts his hand on Reed's shoulder, and Reed's gonna make a persuasion check. He's gonna roll well. And he has a bonus to that. He is trained in persuasion, so that is a dirty 20. Let's see what the DC for this is. 12. Alright, so we nuked that DC. So I think Priest Balthasar, his hand on Reed's shoulder, is like, hey, I just want you to know that I appreciate you going through the vigil. And, you know, I know a lot of people didn't want you to do that. I just want you to know that I appreciate that. You know, if you want to continue down that path, feel free to reach out to me. You know, we'll talk and tell you about the things. You know, we can dive into maybe what that vision with that Manticore, right? Yeah, Manticore. Vision with the Manticore is about, and if you want to talk about it, hey, I'm around. So we're gonna move him. We're gonna move him from disinterested to friendly. Because we've made inroads with him based off of what we've done. So in this context, he will become a friend, but in this context, he's still going to be, as far as giving gifts, he's still going to be a neutral, I think, at this point. Alright. 18's pretty good. Alright, so we can either get straight up cash or pocket contents. You know what? Let's see what the pocket contents are going to be. Just for fun. Because there is good stuff in the pocket contents. Most of it's really silly stuff, but there is good stuff in the pocket contents. 2, 4. Ooh. That's a knife. And the other one's a gemstone. I feel like he's trying to get a friend for the criminal world. Hey, religion's the best racket in the game. You know, they just give you money. And all you have to tell them is like, God likes you or whatever. So yeah, a knife or a gemstone. I like both of those. I think like a jeweled knife could be super cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. I think I'm gonna make it like a jeweled knife. I like that. A knife, yes. Oh. Well, we're taking the 20. We're not taking the 1. Again, Google Dice starting to get funky on me. Rolling a 20 and 1 twice is pretty rare. Okay, so it's worth 100. 100 silver. So not a ton. So 100 silver is going to be up to 10 gold. Let's see what it is. 30. 80. So 90. You know what? Did I make it? Yeah, we can do 90. 90. So it's worth about 9 gold. So it's a nice nice knife. I'm gonna say it's like a maker knife. It's gonna be a maker blessed knife with I don't know what kind of gemstones. It has to be a low level one. Let's say a citrine stone and pommel. So about sort of give that to us and let us know that, like, hey, you know, this is a maker blessed knife. If you keep it in your home, like up on the hearth, it will bring you good, protect your home, things of that nature. It's got a lot of religious iconography tied to it. Well, thank you, Balthazar. This is very nice. It's a very thoughtful gift. Yeah, best of luck. And again, make sure you reach out if you're interested in more. I know that if you have any issues with Magistros Laios and you need to know more about the faith, let me know. A ritual knife, then yeah. for making human sacrifice. It's whatever. You have it. Have fun, kid. No, it's more like a. It's kind of like almost like a totem, like a home protection totem, but is also just a knife. All right, so let's move on from Priest Balthazar. That's a nice one, and we'll put it on here that it's about worth about 9G, just in case we ever need to sell it for whatever reason. Because I won't remember what that is. All right, we can do Kuin. I think we'll do Kuin, Marlene, and then we'll finish with Hells, and then that'll be it for the stream today. And then next time we'll pick up with them making our plans to make the journey. Because we'll be on the road, baby. Going from here, Glory Bend Hall, up to here, and we're going to try to figure out where our little home's going to be. We think right now our travel path is going to be going this way, down and around, and then we're going to pick up probably this ferry and see if we can get there, and there we'll march in here and try to figure out. Once we get in there, those are lands unknown, so we'll be full-on hex crawling at that point, which we got a bunch of crap with us, so that's going to be a real pain in the ass, honestly. Hopefully there's not a ton of forest, or else trying to get a cart through a forest is going to be really tough. Let's see. All right. Who did I say we were going to do next? We're going to do Usathas Kuin. She likes us. She'll give us some stuff. If I roll well. Both of those are going to be pocket contents. So, just going to give us something maybe a little bit more personal. All right, well, 5-2 is just money. It's just a purse. It's not a lot of money, too. It's 1d10 silver. Again, these are supposed to be items. Like, this whole table's stuff that you would find on, like, a random dead body in their pockets. So, like, a small coin purse. And 2-3. Ooh. That could be interesting. So it's supposed to be an instrument. 2-3 is an instrument. I don't think we have anybody in our party who can play music. So I might mulligan that or shift it slightly. Yeah, because she would be the only person who can, and she can't. Gertrude cannot. She could probably learn how to do it, though. She likes us with that charisma. Yeah, we're not quite rizzed up yet. We're rizzing in training. We're trained rizzing. We gotta farm some more aura first. Bard route unlocked. Good totem for protection, very practical, but after it works, it always leaves lots of blood. I like that. So we can't do an instrument, but right next to instrument is game/tool, which I think I'm going to take. I think that she is going to give him a very fancy deck of playing cards. What is the cost for playing cards anyways? I don't know if there... I'm sure there is a cost for it. But I don't know where I would find that, so I'm just going to look real quick. Heavy tools. Item, playing cards. 5 silver pieces. Okay. So let's do it this way. Find out the kind of the monetary value of these guys. That's fine, I can do that. See how fancy these playing cards are, because we have somebody who can use playing cards. 7 or 9. Alright, that'd be 1d20. Ooh, whoa. That's back in platinum again. 1d20 platinum. 15 platinum playing cards. Wow. These are like the fanciest playing cards you can have. They've got like full like gold inlay on them. I guess, yeah. Why not? Oh, what was the other thing that we rolled? Oh, just money. You know what? Maybe the playing cards don't make sense because that's so expensive for playing cards. That's like exponentially more than playing cards are worth. So it doesn't really almost make sense. I think maybe she just gives us a pouch of 15 platinum. It's good to be in the church, baby. They got lots of money. So yeah. Setha's Kuin. Again, she's very friendly with us. With her nice, she's like teal skin tone tiefling. And she's going to give us 15G purse. Nice. Yeah, I decided to audible off the cards for that because I feel like those cards don't. I don't even know how to make those cards make sense. They would be so expensive. So I'd rather just have the cash. So let's roll for another one because, 12 or 4, so pocket contents or some trade goods. Let's go with trade goods. Didn't matter. Rolled the same thing. Ooh, clothing. Alright. Clothing. 13. D50. 13. So 1d50 silver pieces worth of clothing. 45 silver worth of clothing, which is... let me see what clothing is. No, but there's a range. Heavy... No, the Gargath Step. Clothes of Mending. Again. Oh no. Am I still streaming? Uh-oh. We lose our connection? We lose our connection. Where are we at? Are we back? Oh, okay. All right. Stream looked like it went down there for a minute. Having some issues. That's okay. We're gonna keep on plugging through. The tiefling woman thinks good of us. Yeah. Us in like family relations, like we are friendly, as in that jolly cooperation, not necessarily like she's got the hots for us. That would be weird. Reed is a teenager. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give. So I'm gonna futz it a little bit just to make it more practical. I'm gonna give us three sets of traveler's clothes, which I don't think actually technically any of us have. Not that the clothing generally makes that much importance, but nice to know. Alright, so she gave us that. So that leaves us with Knight Marlene. and then we will figure out Prince Hell's. So Prince Hell's for sure has to give us something that's in the platinum range. So I think maybe what we'll do is we'll just like keep going until we get something in the platinum range. And we'll roll ripples, yeah, maybe triples. But first, let's do Knight Marlene. Where's Knight Marlene at? Marlene, where are you? There you go. Another halfer. There's a... In case it's not clear, because probably not, because I haven't been saying it a lot. A significant portion of the entire place that we're playing this game in are halflings. It's tons. It's a sea of short people everywhere. There's so many of them. It's half-elves and halflings, for the most part. Make up about 50% of the population. We have a lot of disinterested people who are not super friends with us, so they're just kind of, hey, how are you doing? So she has bold facial makeup like Reed's, which is really nice. So she'll see that in his. This, I think, is an opportunity for us to maybe persuade her as well. So let's find out what her gift is first, and we can do a little RP. Good for still good for a start. Yes, good for a start. All right, big money, no whammies. Here we go, here we go. 17 and 6. All right, 17's good. That's straight up cash. So we could do cash or we could do pocket contents. Let's see what we get in pocket contents just for fun. Q5. While funny, but not super useful. So those pocket contents would either be incense, which is nice. Which could be a nice trade good to take with us. It's light. It's worth a lot of money, though. The other thing would be a pocket lamp. Which, while funny, considering that Gertrude might have a lot of use for that. The dwarves are average height here. Yeah, so you have a sea of, like, halfling people. Then you have half-elves that are here. So dwarves are just kind of, like, full-on average kind of sized people. Yeah. Just kind of right in the middle. Height-wise. That's why Kuin is, like, towering over some of these people. Alright, so cash money. Let's go with that. Oh no, it's not a lot of money. I might have to mulligan that. Because I just feel like giving somebody copper is just... this would be... Oh, sorry. It's actually... No, looking at the wrong tables. It would be a D20 of silver. Let's re-roll that. Let's see if we get higher on either one. Okay. 1D100. I like that better. 1D100 gold. Alright, that seems reasonable. 55. Alright. We'll just say 50. We'll round down. Honestly, that's still maybe even too much. I'm going to go down because I just don't think that Marlene as... Nope, you know what? I'll leave it at 50. I'll leave it at 55. That's fine. 55 is kind of a weird number, but we'll leave it at 55 because I think there's a reason why this might happen. Marlene gives us a 55G purse. Oof. I'm sorry, this is supposed to be platinum, right? Not gold. Because we rolled very, very high. So I think Marlene comes up. So she has eye makeup that's very similar to Reed's. Congratulations on your entitlement. I heard you, you had some trouble with this, vigil thing that you were trying. Is it true that you killed somebody? It is not true. Reed did not kill somebody. But Reed was in a struggle with somebody, so he's gonna roll persuasion. Unless he wants to lie about it, which I don't think he does. I don't think he sees that as being worth it. So he's gonna have disadvantage. Just a flat charisma check. Whoop. 1. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't kill them. There was a struggle and a fight. They tried to steal me away. I struggled with them, but no, it was one of my protectors dealt the killing blow. Was very scary. And you see that this lady kind of deflates a little bit. She was kind of hoping that, being a knight, thinking that, oh, maybe this person's going to show some courage or bravery, and that'll change their opinion of them. Nope. Just a scared kid. What kind of life expectancy do tieflings have? I think they're roughly human. So, yeah, she is comparatively... comparatively, she's very short-lived to everybody else probably in the room for the most part. Alright, so she gave us this purse, and she's like, well... And, like, puts her, like, heavy calloused hand over Reed's as she, like, gives him the purse. Well, I'm glad you have strong people around you to protect you. So we did not do well with that, so this person has not swayed from their position. That's unfortunate. Alright, that leaves us with only the man with the plan, the guy in charge, Prince Hells himself. The first. Alright. I'm going to roll 3 dice for him when he does stuff. And I think we're going to keep going until we get... basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by rolling on the currency type first. Because I need us to get more than 15 platinum, because that right now is the most expensive thing that I think we have. Alright, so that doesn't get us there. That gives us something gold. And so he's just gonna basically keep giving gifts until he reaches that level, because he has to be the most magnanimous, because he is the ruler. He can't be shown up by any of his subjects. Alright, so there's that. So we're looking for 19s or 20s, so we could be here a while. More gold. There we go. Gold, gold, platinum. I'll do it. Luckily we got there very quickly. Alright, and so we can use any of those for... We're going here. Let's go... Well, the 1d50... 1d50... Ooh. 1d100. Wow. Well, I thought this was going to take us a while, but it turns out we're going to get there real quick. That's 1d50 something here. 1d50 here. And then he's going to give us something that's 1d100 platinum pieces. We got this. We'll be protected at all times with an OP party because we have a nice but harmless guy. But those people aren't nice. Don't mess with them. Those people are cold-blooded killers. Alright. Let's figure out what this is. Alright, what we getting? Alright, well, it can't be the 6 or the 1. So it's gonna have to be the 15. Well, I mean, it could be. That's just straight up currency. Yeah, we can take some currency right off the bat. I'm good with currency right off the bat. 1d50 of gold. 20 gold. Sure. Why not? We get 20G right off the bat. The first of my gifts, of course, for our young Baronet Reed. This purse of gold to help you buy the things that you need and to jumpstart economic prosperity and trade in the northern reaches. Lots of polite clapping. Very nice. Alright, what else we getting? 1, 18, or 16. So, more currency. Or we can go for a pocket contents. Let's go for a pocket contents. So I'll roll 3 times. So 3, 6. Or 36. It's a D66 table, technically. 36. Alright, well that's just nuts or seeds. That would be a weird thing to give somebody, but we could. 46. Perfume, which would be very expensive and a very nice gift. Or 32. We will probably go for 32, because that's food carbs, so this is again going to be more food that we're going to be given. So this is again gold. 45. Okay. Again, actually, is he giving exactly the same amount? I think he's giving exactly the same amount. I think that's again, no. So 45 gold is, geez, a lot. Because that's, I can't do that math in my head fast enough. 5 divided by 0.02. Yeah. Do you want 2,000 pounds of corn? No. No, I don't. So we're gonna change that. Instead of carb, we'll continue to give stuff. You know what? He's gonna give spices. We'll round it up to 50 just because the weird numbers are weird numbers. Again, he's kind of couching this as like economic prosperity kind of stuff, so we're gonna go just straight up 50G of spices. So there's this purse of gold that I've given you to bring up the economic prosperity to the region. In addition, and they pull out and they're like these giant like grain arc almost looking things, trunk. Open it up and then it was like a whole bunch of, or maybe and probably a little bit more like a Chinese kind of like medicine cabinet. So it's got a ton of little drawers in it. These spices that you can use, of course, for your banqueting and feasting, but also to share and trade in the people beyond our lands. Which is, not a ton of spices, honestly, because saffron's at like 15 gold for a pound of it. So it's just like some cloves and saffron and pepper and salt and that kind of stuff. Why does that barbarian listen and follow you? Don't know, I just gave him some food and he kind of stuck around. if you ask nicely, he does some things. He's Bob and he's a kind-hearted guy. Alright, let's figure out our last magnanimous gift. We rolled a magic item. That's great. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the gold amount. Tell us what kind of thing that would get us. So 1,451, so about 1,500 sounds like a good marker. So 1,500 for a magic item does not get us into rare quality, but it does get us firmly into uncommon quality. in multitudes. Holy simoleons. That's a lot of money, man. Yeah, so I guess we'll get 3 uncommon magic items. That's a ton of items. Yeah, that's gonna be our 4th magic item. You are correct. You know what? Because giving 4 or 3 permanent magic items is insane. I'm gonna roll these again. 4, 3, and 2, which would get me. Yeah. Okay, this is much better. No, that can't work because it has to be more than 15 platinum. It has to be the most magnanimous gift. I've trapped myself into giving myself too much loot. So yeah, I mean to beat. No, it's not. 15 gold's only 150. I'm thinking 1,000. No, it's only 150 gold. Sorry, only 150 gold. That's all we have to beat. 150. We just rolled very high. So if that's the case, the way I'm going to split that up is, just for funs, I'm going to go with 1 uncommon magic item, permanent, and, 1 common healing potion for each of us, so 3. That already makes it super magnanimous, already gives us a whole bunch of stuff, is a massive gift. We're going to get 1 magic item. This is going to be uncommon, permanent, and 3 healing potions. I could take some of that if you have problems with the amount. No, yeah. Hey, if I could pull it out of the game and give it to myself, I would. I could take a few magic items in my real life. All right. So at the end, it's like, and I bestow upon you. You know what? We're going to get that 1 magic item permanent thing. Let's see what that is. Let's actually figure out what that is. It's got to be something useful for kind of anybody. So it has to be uncommon. +1 all-purpose tool's pretty good, though. It's just useful for anybody. It becomes, for a list of artisan tools, it can become basically any of these tool sets, which makes 0 sense, but that's fine. It's magic. So that works. Amulet of the Devout. The Moon Sickle. What's this Dragonhide belt? That's pretty dope. +1 bonus to saving throws of your key features. That's a monk thing. Wand of the War Mage. Yeah, now there's a +1 weapon with no damage. It was like masterwork in Pathfinder. Interesting. The old alchemy jug. I'll give you this alchemy jug. Will that work? There's the true path. this guild signet do? Ensnaring strike. Interesting. Bag of tricks would be very high. Oh, he might just give us just a straight up bag of holding. I usually try not to give myself bags of holding. I don't like using them very much in the game. I like to make encumbrance or just carrying around large stuff a pain in the butt. But maybe. Highly polished wood. Ooh, this one's really good. This would actually be very good for us. This is from Humblewood Tales. Interesting. The thin chain belt appears to be made of metal, yet closer inspection reveals it to be made of highly polished wood. While wearing this belt, you gain the following benefits. You have advantage on survival checks in a forest environment. That's likely to happen. You can ignore difficult terrain while moving through forest. That's likely to happen. You can cast a long strider spell once, targeting yourself. Oh, only yourself. That sucks. I mean, those are all super useful. Well, the boots Velvenkine. Always nice. Boots of the Winding Path. Boots of the Winding Path is also very good. You don't have real life magic items? Well, you didn't get yours when you logged on the server of real life RPG? Yeah. Bag of handling needs his brother bag of holding to work properly. Very funny. The circlet of human perfection. Oh, interesting. Cap of vanishing. Deck of miscellany. Interesting. The face of each card bears an illustration of a different item or set of items. Permanently transforms. Alright, so this wouldn't be a permanent. Would be one of those ones where it's like, oh, though this is really freaking useful. Yes, there's a lot of really good stuff in here. It's hard choosing one. Gauntlets of Ogre Power, here we go! You know, he is a noble. He should technically get it like a sword to show that he's a noble. Fireball on yourself is a good use of it. Lightbringer. Made for the Cleric Lathander. Yeah, can we do it? Let's do it by type. Ammunition, martial weapons. We don't know if we'll be able to use martial weapons is one of the problems. Can we get one that's simple weapons? Rings. Lots of rings in here. Most of them are guild signet. Plant speech. Ring of puzzle is wit. That's a charge item. I'm trying to do things that don't have charges. Shields. Alright, simple weapons. Moonsicle. Nice. But we don't have a druid or ranger potentially in the party. The blood spear. Any creature can wield the spear, but only the character chosen by Kavan to wield it gains a +2. Yeah. This is a very specific thing. Javelin of Lightning's always clutch. Warrior Route increases its power. The boomerang? The storm boomerang. On a hit, the boomerang deals 1d4 bludgeoning damage and 3d4 thunder damage, and the target must be a DC 10 con save or be stunned until the end of its next turn. On a miss, the boomerang returns to its thrower's hand. Once the boomerang deals thunder damage to a target, the weapon loses its ability to deal thunder damage and its ability to stun a target. After the boomerang spends at least 1 hour inside an element... Okay, well, I'm probably not going to have an elemental air node. It seems like you could have just made it per short rest, but this is... What is this from? Princess of the Apocalypse. Okay. Dang, I really wanted to choose something. This is why I didn't want to do the other magic items. It might take me forever. The blood spear! Yeah. Rot of chance. Arcane focused. It also functions as a magical club, which you can use your charisma modifier to make attacks and damage rolls. Interesting. Each time you hit with this weapon, roll a d100. On a result of 10 or less, something odd happens. This occurs, roll a d10. And why are you rolling a d... Why not just roll a d10 and on a 1, something weird happens? Why did you make it a d100 and then a d10? Wizards, you weird. Technically this is from Humblewood. Target of your attack is affected by the effects of enlarge, reduce. Magical lightning. You and your attacker switch places. Sweet smelling flowers. Deals no damage and emits a clear resonant squeak. Audible out. Like a squeak toy. That's very funny. I really like this item, but this would make this is way too silly for the campaign that we're in. Like, he would not give this away. Ah, goodness. You know, in lieu of anything else, I think I have to go Bag of Holding. I think I might have to go Bag of Holding. Even though I don't generally like doing that. Eyes of the Eagle. Ooh. Oh. Or Eyes of the Eagle. Eyes of the Eagle, again, very, very cool. So something that could let us see far, something that could let us see something up close. Far seems like it would be more useful. Counterfeit coins. Oy. It prints money, baby. Well, this seems like an incredibly problematic item to have in your campaign. You can just make it up to 100 gold whenever you want it. Pay for something and then just walk away. What is the emerald pendant? There's no ink to write while holding, yes, illusory script. Okay. Let's go with the Eyes of the Eagle. That's such a useful one, and anybody could wear it. It's good. Money is also good. Yeah. Yeah. That's a little game breaking though, I feel like. Like, even if I was designing that, I'd be like, there's no way I could just, like, give people free money. It's like, you basically get free healing potions then. Especially for any sort of murder hobo group that doesn't stay in the place for very long. You're like, yeah, I never pay for anything. I'm kind of an ass. I like Eyes of the Eagle. These crystal lenses fit over the eyes. You have advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. In conditions of clear visibility, you can make out details of even extremely distant creatures and objects as small as 2 feet across. That's a super useful thing when you're going into, especially a dangerous land, which is where we're going into, because I was trying to find something that would make sense, and being able to like keep your head on the swivel and see things in a far distance, especially like dangers in extreme detail, is incredibly useful. So I'm gonna go with Eyes of the Eagle. That's a very cool one. I like it. And Eyes of the Eagle. So Prince tells us, like, I give you this purse, I give you these spices, these potions, these elixirs of strength and vitality will keep you and your companions safe, your retainers safe in these harsh lands, and these fabulous crystal lenses, which will allow you to see even the most minute of details in the farthest distances. Lots of clapping. Oh, really nice. Yeah, super useful. All right. Yeah, I think we'll call it there. This was really good. It's getting through the gifts took way longer than I thought it was going to. So next time we're going to pick this up. They're going to be preparing and setting off on the road. Hopefully, nothing bad happens overnight. You know what? Just in case, let's roll for it. And this will be our last roll. We'll say, does the night pass peacefully? No. Oh no. Something's going to happen overnight. We'll have to figure out what that is next time, though. But thanks for hanging out, guys. If you like this stuff, of course, you can like this video and subscribe and do the follows and all that good stuff. And we try to do this weekly. And we'll jump back in. I don't know. Next week, we might be playing this. I might be talking about some other D&D TTRPG related stuff. We'll see. We'll see how this next week goes. If it's like this week, I'm going to be really busy. So we may just play the game again. And hopefully I won't make any progress on stuff outside. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. This is always fun. I'm really excited to see. I can't believe we got so much loot. I thought we were going to get some just normal stuff. And we started off getting normal stuff. And then we started getting some choice stuff. We'll be excited to see how we're going to use this. Oh, right. It's the end of the session. We need to roll for Reed. Oh my gosh. I almost forgot about it. All right. Now the actual last thing that we need to roll for. Let's do this. Fit. Let's go. Reference document. Where are we at? All right. So, what do we think that Reed did the best? Reed did actually have a really clutch charisma roll. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Take it easy. You have a good week, too. He had a really clutch charisma roll because he was able to move somebody from unfriendly back to friendly. Priest Balthazar. So I think maybe we roll for his charisma. 1d6, here we go. Big money, no whammies. Not bad. Not bad. I'll take a 5. Bard route unlocked. So we went from having 11 to now we have a 16. So we have a +3. Nice. So things start to look a little bit different. Reed has now stepping into his own. He's like, oh, I can maybe convince some people of some things. So our underpowered guy is starting to make his way in. Things are going very well. All right. It's good. Charisma is a key, going to be a key ability score for Reed, as being a lord and sort of like influencing and lording over people and convincing them to do things. This is a good one. Wisdom's going to be good for us. Intelligence is going to be good for us. If we get in fights, obviously, all of our practical body stats, our strength, our dex, con are important too. But charisma is the one thing that's super weak in our party. Because Cristof got none. Oh, Cristof's got +1. And, oh, and Gertrude has +1. Okay, never mind. I thought they both had 0s. They have +1s. But alright. Alright, that's it. I promise. I'm out of here. Guys, go have a good week. I'll see you guys later, alright? Bye.